Good morning. My name is Tom Kep. I started SNIP. Uh, I'm the founder of SNIP. I started doing this probably 25 years ago. In 2015, we did a 501c3 for SNIP Collier, and we our mission has always been spay and neuter, to try to help the overpopulation of our uh, dogs and cats in Collier County. We opened this clinic. This is yesterday was our fourth anniversary, and we are now in the process of. We have a 3 acre piece in Immokalee that we have spent the last 5 years getting our site development plans, raising money, and we just broke ground out there last week, and they're out there working on the existing building, which we are renovating. It's going to be a basically a triage facility. We have a mobile unit that we'll use as our vet clinic out there. And so when we find these injured animals like these guys, we'll be able to get them someplace immediately and get them taken care of and figure out what to do, find them homes or work with our friends at Gulf Coast or Cape Coral Animal Shelters. Um, but anyway, SNP's mission is spay and neuter and overpopulation, but it has morphed into a true rescue, um, because nobody else is. I mean, I don't want to sound like there's not other organizations that are helping these animals, but we go out in the field on a daily basis and we look for the problems, and we go to homes. We get calls all the time to say, hey, this dog's chained up or this dog's run over, like these guys. um, and we go there. Just Saturday, we got a call um, about some puppies somebody was trying to get help with, and it was off this dirt road out in off of Immokalee Road. It was not in Immokalee. It was just out in a very rural area. And so we went out there, introduced ourselves, and they had 4 puppies that were had many fleas on them. I'm sure they have worms, and they had no problem surrendering the mom and the 4 puppies to us. And we got them over to Gulf Coast Humane Society, and with the mom, and they're going to be taken care of, and they'll be up for adoption. Then today, this afternoon, when we get through this, I'm going to go back out there. I'm going to take them dog food. Um, there's 2 more little females that they're going to surrender to us, and then they're going to keep 2, a male and a female, and we're going to fix them both. So that's the kind of things that we do. But so this is our first podcast, and we're new at this, obviously. So I hope you'll watch it and stay with us, because we will. This is going to be good, but we'll improve it as we go, and we're going to try to do one a month for a while. And if we get a lot of people watching, we'll go to once every 2 weeks. But I'd like to introduce my friends Brad and Danny and Wobbles, and that's Leo, aka Wobbles now.
Wheels.
Wheels, I'm sorry, Wheels. There you go.
Wobbles.
And you don't have to edit that. We'll make mistakes a lot. And these guys, Wobbles, I got a call that a puppy had been run over and couldn't walk. And so I had met Brad and Danny, and they had called me, wanted to come out with me. And so the result was Wobbles was just a little puppy at the time. He could not walk. His spinal cord was completely severed. And they were kind enough to take him in as a foster, and he's never left yet. And I don't think he ever will. But anyway, so I'm going to turn this over to them, and they're going to tell you the story. And this is Leo, which we just found about 2 weeks ago. And the same thing, somebody called and said, hey, this little dog's dragging himself down the road. So we immediately went out, and I put him at my house for a couple of weeks, but immediately called Brad and Danny, because Wobbles has his own YouTube page, and they immediately stepped up and took him. And I'll let them tell the story. I'll please make sure that when you guys tell him what you do for, your, he works with a lot of youth developing their sports field. So take it away.
Sure. So the very first thing would be the day that we met Mr. Wobbles. Danielle actually just said to me, our dog had passed away 2 weeks prior, and she just said, I heard about this organization, they're great, and what do you think about volunteering some time? So I think 20 minutes later I called Tom, and then we set up a day to go out, and the day we go out, we wound up in Immokalee. As soon as we get there, Tom, I thought you were going to take us to like this clinic or something. And I thought we were going to be sweeping the floors and cleaning up poop or something.
Doing laundry.
Whatever. I mean, anything we could do to help volunteer. And you're just like, yeah, man, we'll show you what we do. And next thing you know, we're on a 40-minute drive out into this neighborhood that I couldn't believe. As soon as we get there, we start seeing dogs all over the place. And you're pointing like, look at that one who's chained to the fence, and look at that one. And then literally within 5 minutes of being there, we went to the first stop. I don't know if you even remember that necessarily, but there was a dog that was hurt that you had called on. You were called on before, and that you went right up to those people and said to them, hey, this is a problem. You better take care of this. And again, I don't know you from Adam. I never met you before. And I'm just thinking, I can't believe this crazy guy just put us in the car. I don't even know. We might never come back. So we get out, and again, I don't know if you remember this, but there was a couple of women that were yelling at you in Spanish, and I didn't understand anything they were saying. And the woman had a machete on the table standing right next to her while you're giving them crap about, like, they got to take care of this dog. And I'm telling Danielle, just go back in the car, because I don't know what the heck is going on here.
The good news, I didn't know what they were saying either.
Yeah.
So maybe that was the good part.
All I know is I'm like, I can't believe this guy's yelling at these people, and they have a machete, and we're out in the middle of who knows where. So I'm just like, all right, whatever. And then we got out of there, and then we go to the next stop, and as soon as we get there, he's just on the porch, just strapped to the porch, like literally strapped to the porch, hanging there with his feet dangling. Probably been there for 2 weeks, right, or at least a week or more. And he was just peeing and pooping on himself. And then within 10 minutes, you talked to the owners, and they surrendered him to you. And then about an hour later, or maybe 2 hours later, we were actually having a little bit of lunch, and you called us and asked if we would foster him. And my first thought was, I don't see how we could. We have a small condo. He's going to be a big dog. And I asked my girlfriend, and like, without hesitation, she was like, "Of course." I was quite stunned at that, actually. And then we both thought, like, all right, we'll foster this guy. We'll do what we can. And within a week, don't get him mad at him. Within a week, we were like, we're keeping this guy. So that's how that story started. And if Danielle, you want to tell the second story?
We took him home, and we had no idea what to do. I mean, obviously, we've never owned a paralyzed dog before, so this was all completely new to us, because they don't know when they have to pee, they don't know when they have to poop. So, I immediately just went to Facebook and joined a paralyzed dog group, and I mean, everybody was just commenting on things that helped, as far as like diapers, washable pee pads, just being.
You tried it all.
I mean, you just have to be super creative and set up your house for them, because obviously they have no control. But I mean, the biggest thing with him was just putting him on a good diet and on a super strict schedule as far as peeing and pooping. But yeah, we watched YouTube videos, because everybody always asks us, they're like, how do they go to the bathroom? So we watched YouTube videos, figured out how to express him. And as far as number 2, I mean, we've heard everything from using. Are we serious right now?
He's a good boy.
I'm talking about you. We hear you. And as far as number 2, I mean, people say sometimes ice cubes, but we just use a Q-tip, and that pretty much does the trick. But having them on a really good schedule helps any accidents, because we've had a few in local pet stores. So thank you to all the pet stores around here for being nice to us. But I mean, one thing we always worried about was how big he was going to get too, but he stayed pretty small, which has helped our backs also. But it's definitely been a learning curve. And
yeah, well, that's the main reason I think that we wound up keeping him. Because at first I was telling Danny, I'm like, how can we keep this guy? We have a condo. He's going to be 40, 50 pounds.
Yeah.
And we're both busy. We have jobs and all that. But after I would say about a week, we're just like, who the heck else is going to take care of the dog?
There was a lot of work with him.
Yeah, we had to learn.
And he was a puppy, so he was bananas.
It is, it really is. And from experience, once you get involved with them, it's really hard to give them up, because you're always worried about the next person won't do as good a job as you do.
Yeah.
And it's true to a point
And we've
because
seen it,
it's
we've seen
hard.
it. Like we even saw posts on Facebook where people had a paralyzed dog in particular, and then wanted to give them back. So like, oh, I didn't realize how much
It's
work
too
this was.
much.
Are
They're
you
doing
kidding me?
laundry
It was a
all
lot of
day
work.
long.
Of course, yeah. You're constantly
Accidents.
cleaning the house, tons of laundry. You got to pick him up everywhere he goes, and he's heavy now. And then you got to buy a $400 wheelchair. And then we did multiple visits to the doctor, which obviously isn't cheap either. We did a lot of physical therapy for him. Unfortunately, the physical therapy didn't do anything, but we thought perhaps he might be able to. Like this guy can actually walk around on his two front legs. We thought he might be able to get to that point, but
I think the issue is
big.
his scoliosis is so bad that I guess he was maybe only 4 months old. He was about 17 pounds, and I think he just grew too big. And the curve, he just kind of like collapses. And he's been so spoiled, everybody just brings him food. So
Well, we think
he hasn't seen the
sitting,
need to get up on his
him
two
sitting on
front
that
paws.
porch for like probably a solid 2 weeks in just one bad position, that
Yeah.
put him in a bad spot. They didn't do any therapy for him. They didn't get him up. They didn't move him around. That was a problem. But we did it immediately, and he's done really, really well. They're both awesome in their wheelchairs now.
Yeah.
They're fast. He's really fast.
So why don't we tell them the story? This little guy was found crawling down the road, and his feet and he had no skin on his knees, and put him up on the table. Well, that
See, big guy. And it's same with him. Like because he was in a tight spot and didn't get any therapy or get treated properly, this back leg is just beyond stiff. Like it just doesn't move at all. And that's his biggest problem getting around. Other than that, he can crawl with his front 2 feet. He's pretty good at it. Right?
Leo, our wheels.
It's
What are you
wheels.
doing, baby?
Are you camera shy?
But he's no joke. He can jump
You
off,
can
he jumps off the couch.
You can see the skin places on his legs
Yeah,
and
so
his
one of them could
and
say
his-
this is the best example.
and
It
his
was really bad. And this was really bad. You could see bone on this just I'd say about a week ago. So we've had to wrap it and put all kinds of creams on it and whatnot. And it was all over too. Like this was bad, and over here was bad. But now it's really just these two spots that are left. But he's been awesome. He's such a nice guy, and he's such a tough guy, man. He's not even afraid of Mr. Wobbles.
he rules the house.
He does.
He does.
Let me add on to this as we talk about this conversation. This is what happens when some of the shelters like to practice, how do we keep them out of the shelters? Because they're crowded, and I get that. But the problem is, this is what happens when you keep them out of the shelters, is they're run over, they die of worms, fleas, people. There's none of these dogs are better off out where they were than they'd even be better in a shelter. Now they've got a perfect life, but this is what happens when you do it. And without enforcement, there's just puppy after puppy and kitten after kitten being born. And this is something that we'll save for another segment, or at least in a few minutes. But everybody needs to understand that these dogs didn't just happen to show up there. I'm sure somebody bred these dogs and then gave this one away, or the guy bought it, whatever. That one's probably just born in an accidental litter, because again, we have no laws that really stop that, which we are trying to pass right now, and hopefully we'll get it passed. But this is the problem. Just like I told you about the puppies that we just got the other day. That's it's everywhere. And until we get the county to step up and at least put some effort into stopping this, we're just going to continue to find them. And SNIP needs your support to help covering these things, because that's what we do. And so anyway, that's this is these guys. This didn't have to happen to them.
No, definitely not. It's amazing. They both have the best life you can imagine now. And I don't think either one of them, they don't dwell on it. They're just happy as heck. And everybody loves him. Like this guy we've had now for about 2 years. He's got his own Instagram page. And like we just walked in here, remember before? And the woman at the front was like, I know that dog. I've seen him before. Everybody knows him. They don't remember our names ever, but everybody knows him. We go almost anywhere we go. Like she's always like, I don't know, we're allowed to bring in dogs. I'm like, just bring them in. He's a parrot.
I was going to say, who's going to say anything?
Nobody ever says.
Nobody's going to be that
In
big a
fact, in that
jerk.
exact situation, officially dogs weren't supposed to be there. But as soon as we come up, the manager's like, oh, come on. So she just let him in. He was the man.
And by the way, tell them about what you do for a living and how Wobbles comes out to the track and runs with the kids and stuff.
I actually had him. Yeah, yesterday we did a relay because I'm a track coach. So the whole team did a relay about it was the season's over. So we did a postseason fun thing where we had ice pops and all that. And we did a relay where we set up 6 different teams. And the relay, normally in a real relay, when you're in high school track, you pass a baton. So it's called an anything but a baton relay. So people had brooms. One kid had a big Mickey Mouse stuffed animal. We actually had a giant flag that really slowed us down. One team carried a watermelon, then of course they busted open on the track right at the end. But one of the ideas was to carry him the whole way, and I would have done it because he would have been a good baton. Except if anybody were to fall, like,
yeah, really.
But the kids hadn't met him. That's why I brought him, and they were losing their minds. Everybody loves the little guy. He was such a nice little dude. But I've brought him multiple times, and my kids will actually walk him around the track, and they'll race him around the track, and he is
Wobbles
fast.
does not like to lose.
No, he is very competitive.
He's very
He'll
fast.
bark at you if you try to go past him. When he sees the kids running by, he goes nuts. So yeah, and I've even brought him to a lot of my training sessions too. I train athletes mainly for track and field, like javelin or hurdles or whatever, but I train everything: football, soccer, tennis, agility, speed and strength, injury prevention, all that stuff. And then the other thing that we do, and I have a gym in New Jersey that does that, and then I do it here too. And then the other thing that we do is we train. Actually, we have 2 other things. One is it's called Rocksteady Boxing. I don't know if we told you about that, but Rocksteady Boxing, we have the largest program in New Jersey where we train people with Parkinson's disease. Basic fitness program, balance, coordination, and of course a lot of boxing. But we have probably 35, 40 people and we've probably had 200 over the last 5 years that are generally 75-year-olds, mostly men that have Parkinson's disease, and we work on balance, fitness, function, coordination. And that's why boxing is a big deal. The hand-eye coordination is a really big deal. So if you go online, you look that up, you look up Rocksteady Boxing. It's actually a large chain around the country, but we have the biggest. It's basically like a franchise in New Jersey.
And the name of your company?
That's called Rocksteady Boxing. It's called Rocksteady Bergen County specifically because that's the one in New Jersey. My other business is Ultimate Track, which is training for track, but of course, like I said, anything. Train a lot of football kids, a lot of soccer kids. And then my other business is called Your First Mud Run, which we're hosting 2 events in Southwest Florida this year. We're hopefully going to host 4. We're definitely doing Boca Raton. We're definitely doing Ave Maria. And we're definitely doing with Babcock Ranch. So we got those 3 for sure. And we're pretty close to doing Orlando now, hopefully in Margaritaville. And in that event, SNIP's been there the last couple of years, right? And you guys have a table and we have a fundraising. So any organization can raise money. We always raise money for something. The first couple of years we raised it for a local church. This year we're raising it for the Ave Maria Parks Department. But even though, let's say we wind up raising $3,000 or $4,000 for the Ave Maria Parks Department, there'll be at least 10 other local charities that will raise $100, $200, $500, $5,000 sometimes. So anybody can sign up. It's a really fun race. It's an obstacle race with mud and all kinds of great obstacles for ages 5 and up. And we raise money for anybody. So if anybody out there is watching this and they have a charity for their friend who passed away or something, you can set up a team and we donate back to that team based on how many registrations you get, and then we also set up a fundraiser.
So let's get a couple teams out there for SNIP Collier.
100%.
That'd be great.
Yep, and it's super fun, and dogs are allowed to come, actually. He's always there. So the obstacles are set up so you can bring your dog with you. They can't do probably half of them, but they can do the other half, and it's a lot of fun.
You're not doing the rope climb.
They love the mud pit, but they can't do the rope climb. Some of them can do the cargo net if they're big dogs.
The mud.
The mud for sure, yeah. It's a super fun event. There's always a lot of dogs there, and there's always a lot of little kids, and there's always a lot of fundraising aspect to it.
Good boys.
And we also, by the way, do one in North Carolina and probably one in New Jersey. We started in New Jersey, and at one point we had 12 events from New York to Pennsylvania to Connecticut to all over the place. But since we moved down here, we're starting more Florida and hopefully maybe a little more North Carolina, a little more Georgia, a little South Carolina, maybe that kind of stuff. More South.
Well, guys, all I can tell you is thank you so much for taking these animals from us, and you've been a big part of SNIP for a couple of years, and we appreciate it so much. And when we get this new building out there, I hope you guys come out
Absolutely.
a lot, and I know you will. So anyway, but thank you for bringing them and coming on, and mainly thank you for helping us with them. And again, we'll, if we can get him a perfect home, we will, or he can stay at your house, whichever one happens first. But anyway, thank you, Wobbles. Thank you so much
Well,
for going. Yay!
It's all because of him. 'Cause he was such a good boy.
Okay.
after working with him for 2 years, he's been piece of cake.
Easy, right?
SNIP Collier does have a 5K race. Go to our our Facebook page, and also go onto Gulf Coast Runners site, GCR Runners, and you'll see how to sign up for it. It's a 5K on Memorial Day, so please sign up and come walk, run. It's there's people that race, but we welcome walkers. It is hot, so we don't like. I mean, you're more than welcome to bring your pet, but we don't supply water or any of that kind of thing because it's just so hot, and we don't want any accidents. But
The one that's at Baker.
no, it's out at Paradise Paradise Coast. Yeah, we had to move it out there because we didn't. It was we didn't get our permits from the city this time, which is a whole nother issue. But bottom line is it's going to be out there, which is it's a great event. So,
We did that.
but anyway, please come out and join us for our race. And next, and then we have in September, we have wine on the water at Venetian Village, and that's always a great event. And then in October, I think it's October 17th, we're having a big golf tournament at Tiburon, and so those are our events. So we're going to sign off of this segment, and thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
So what do you think? So I hope you've enjoyed our podcast today, but before we finish, I want to bring up something that SNIP Collier has done. I think the first time I went in front of our county commission was in 2003, I think, something like that. And I actually was in front of them just recently. And this is a pretty conservative county. And the annual budget for our enforcement and our domestic animal service, back then I was on the advisory board for when it first started, and we were tasked with writing ordinances. And of course now it was decided that's not part of the domestic animal service advisory board purview, because about a year ago they moved all the enforcement over to code. Well, at the last county commission meeting, or about a month ago when I went, I reminded them that I've been coming up in front of them for a minimum of 20 years. And the budget's been, if you use a $3 million a year budget for our animal control and our domestic animal service, which is way more now, 20 years at $3 million is $60 million. And I just showed a film to the commissioners of about 20 dogs in the street, on one street. It took me about 5 minutes to take those videos. We're working as hard as we can to help this problem. We've done, I think, since SNIP started, we used to work with Gulf Coast and bring a van to Immokalee to the Winn-Dixie, and we do 30 a month. We've done approximately 16,000 spay and neuters, both cats and dogs. We've rescued every year. We bring in animals like this, anywhere from 200 to, or let's be conservative, 100. This year already, I've brought in 110 dogs, either to Gulf Coast as owner surrenders, moms, puppies, probably about 50 plus strays that I have to take to domestic animal, which that means that as taxpayers, you're paying for it. I try to get them in as many as I can into Gulf Coast and Cape Coral. It alleviates some of the, but that's really that's not how it should work. Lee County shouldn't be taking our animals to those places, but thank goodness they do, because our facilities, I think there's a few months ago, it was a 4-month wait to get an owner surrender in there. I don't know what it is today, but the bottom line is the way the county's set up, we have 5 commissioners, and they all know what the problem is, because I talk to them a lot. I've been going to meetings, like I said, 20 years. And we have no more enforcement now than we had 20 years ago. In fact, actually, someone asked me when they moved it from domestic animal service over to code, they said, what do you think? And I said, it can't be any worse. Well, I was wrong. And I hate to admit when I'm wrong, but I was wrong because it is. I don't even get the proper public records, which we'll be going, part of our segments each time we do this, we're going to go over a case. It will be exactly what's on the reports. I won't, only facts will be told on these things. The commission knows this. There's two people that work directly for the commission, so everybody knows it. Everybody needs to write their commissioners. Amy Patterson is the county manager, and Jeff Klaskow is the county attorney. They work directly for the county commission. So that's where the commission can start to get these things cleared up. Thomas Lamarina and Tim Croats, I probably pronounced those names wrong. I apologize, guys, but they are head of code enforcement now. And they need to hold people accountable, and that's just not happening. And like I said, I used to be able to get public records a lot easier than I do now. They changed the system. We'll, for the sake of argument, we'll say that the new system is just harder to deal with. But I can tell you, I have one on 304 Washington Avenue in Immokalee. But here again, this is all over the county. This is not just Immokalee. I turned it in a year ago, April. I turned them in again last September and again in January. And this will be the first case we actually go to. And I just asked for public records because there's a dog that I have pictures of that was pregnant about either pregnant or just had puppies probably 3 or 4 weeks ago. And I don't believe they've been out there again since February. Again, maybe they have, but there are no public records of them going there. Anyway, thank you so much for listening. And that's going to be a big part of our podcast, too, going forward. Hopefully, we'll have some commissioners that will come on and talk to us. Maybe we can get Tom or Tim from Code to come in. Maybe some officers. We want to help. I'm trying not to be critical, but we can help. We know what's going on in the field, and right now. I'm saying SNIP Collier will ride with officers. Will help. We just want, when we turn something in, it's not something where the dog's off a leash. We only turn things in that are serious problems and animals are suffering, or they're having puppies or kittens. Thank you so much, and hope you enjoyed it, and we did, and we'll talk again soon. Thank you, Tom Kepp. And please donate to SNIP Collier, because none of this happens without money, and our Helping Paws Fund or our Trap and Release, our feral cat program is really getting up and running, so please help us out. And we're building a $2.5 million facility in Immokalee right now. So thank you.